There comes a moment when the clock stops ticking. The world keeps spinning, people keep scrolling, but your soul pauses. You feel it. That ache behind your ribs. That feeling like you're here, but not really here. Like you're watching your own life happen behind glass. And maybe no one told you this, but what you're feeling isn't just depression, it's prophecy. See, the scriptures say that in the final hour, there will be signs, not just in the heavens, but in the hearts of men. That there will be a great falling away, not just from faith, but from purpose, from identity, from being truly alive. And you listening to this right now, you're not lost. You're being called. Because the rapture is not just an event, it's a revelation. It's what happens when everything fake in your life is stripped away, and all that's left is the truth. The truth about who you are. The truth about the war for your soul. The truth about the one choice you were born to make, wake up or disappear with the rest. This is not a video. This is a summons, a cry in the wilderness reaching for the broken, the addicted, the numb, the angry, the men who don't even know they're asleep. If your soul is still alive, prove it. Before the skies split, something else has to split first. Your soul. Because the rapture doesn't start in the heavens. It starts in the heart of a man who's been crushed by the weight of pretending. We keep looking outward for signs, blood moons, earthquakes, wars. But what if the greatest sign that the end is near is the void you've been carrying inside? What if the rapture isn't just the taking up, but the tearing away? What if God has already started removing things from your life? Not to harm you, but to purify you. That heartbreak, was it just coincidence? Or was it the divine removal of what no longer served your calling? That friend who ghosted you, that opportunity that slipped through your fingers, that relationship that shattered right when you thought it was your forever. Was that just life being cruel? Or was it heaven stepping in saying, I love you too much to let you keep building your future on sand? See, the rapture is the great separation, not just of the faithful from the fallen, but of your true self from your false self. And that tearing hurts. God knows it, but He still does it, because He would rather break your comfort than lose your soul. When you feel like everything is being stripped away, it's because heaven is getting you ready to carry glory. He's removing the weights that keep you earthbound. He's detaching your identity from what was never eternal. And that process isn't pretty. It's violent. It's lonely. But it's necessary, because before you can rise, you must die to what isn't real. This is why the numbness set in. Why the parties don't satisfy. Why the hookup leaves you emptier. Why the high doesn't last. It's not because you're broken. It's because you're being awakened. The Spirit is beginning to stir in you, and what used to keep you asleep no longer works. That's not failure. That's deliverance. And here's the beautiful, terrifying truth. The rapture has already begun. Not with trumpets, not with angels, but with the moment you looked at your life and said, this can't be all there is. That whisper inside you, that ache for more, that's the first trumpet. And if you're still listening, then the door is still open. But you can't carry the old with you. Not into this next place. Let it go. Let it be torn. Because on the other side of that holy removal is resurrection. Let me tell you a mystery. Not one written in stone, but one etched into the aching hearts of this generation. The sign, the real sign, was never going to flash in the sky or boom like thunder over a battlefield. No, the last rapture sign has already appeared, and it appeared in your disconnection, in your soul, in your silence, in the moment you looked in the mirror and didn't recognize the man staring back. That was the sign. You thought it was just you. You thought maybe you're just broken, messed up, not enough. But what if I told you that what you feel, that numbness, that ache, that haunting sense that something is missing, isn't dysfunction, but divine interruption? What if it's not a breakdown, but the echo of heaven knocking, saying, "Wake up, son. It's time." See, we've built a world that looks alive but is dead on the inside. A world that says, "Be a man," but doesn't show you how. A world that teaches you how to get attention, but not how to hold purpose. You can have 1,000 followers and not one person who truly sees you. You can sleep next to someone and still feel unreachable. We were taught to chase dopamine like it's destiny, to scroll, to swipe, to pretend. But no one told us how to feel again. No one taught us how to bleed and still believe. And so we suffer, not because we're weak, but because we're wired for something eternal, and we're living in something artificial. This world will convince you to numb it all, lust it away, laugh it off, work it out at the gym and call that healing. But listen to me, disconnection is not weakness, it's a sign. The pain you feel in your chest at 2 a.m., that's the alarm bell of the soul. It's heaven's whisper that you've been living too long as someone you're not. That you were born to be more than a profile, more than an income, more than a body in motion. And hear me, this isn't punishment. This is mercy. Mercy that God would let you feel the emptiness so that you would finally search for the fullness. The disconnection is not the end, it's the beginning. Because until a man realizes he's lost, he can never cry out to be found. Until he's numb, he'll never hunger to feel again. So if you feel disconnected, don't run, don't distract, stand still. The sign has appeared, and it's speaking your name. Before the skies split, something else has to split first. You, your soul. Because the rapture doesn't start in the heavens. It starts in the heart of a man who's been crushed by the weight of pretending. We keep looking outward for signs, blood moons, earthquakes, wars. But what if the greatest sign that the end is near is the void you've been carrying inside? What if the rapture isn't just the taking up, but the tearing away? What if God has already started removing things from your life? Not to harm you, but to purify you. That heartbreak, was it just coincidence? Or was it the divine removal of what no longer served your calling? That friend who ghosted you, that opportunity that slipped through your fingers, that relationship that shattered right when you thought it was your forever. Was that just life being cruel? Or was it heaven stepping in, saying, "I love you too much to let you keep building your future on sand"? See, the rapture is the great separation, not just of the faithful from the fallen, but of your true self from your false self. And that tearing hurts. God knows it, but He still does it, because He would rather break your comfort than lose your soul. When you feel like everything is being stripped away, it's because heaven is getting you ready to carry glory. He's removing the weights that keep you earthbound. He's detaching your identity from what was never eternal. And that process isn't pretty. It's violent. It's lonely. But it's necessary, because before you can rise, you must die to what isn't real. This is why the numbness set in, why the parties don't satisfy, why the hookup leaves you emptier, why the high doesn't last. It's not because you're broken. It's because you're being awakened. The Spirit is beginning to stir in you, and what used to keep you asleep no longer works. That's not failure. That's deliverance. And here's the beautiful, terrifying truth. The rapture has already begun, not with trumpets, not with angels, but with the moment you looked at your life and said, "This can't be all there is." That whisper inside you, that ache for more, that's the first trumpet. And if you're still listening, then the door is still open. But you can't carry the old with you, not into this next place. Let it go. Let it be torn. Because on the other side of that holy removal is resurrection. We were never supposed to become this, men chasing shadows of strength, powerful in appearance but powerless in spirit. And no one told us that the image we were sold, of manhood without mercy, toughness without tenderness, lust without love, wasn't masculinity, it was idolatry. The scriptures warn us that in the last days there will come a deception so great, so smooth, so dressed in light, that even the chosen could be fooled. And it won't come with horns or blood. It will come looking like everything you ever wanted to be. Confident, untouchable, emotionless, but empty. This is the Antichrist spirit. Not because it's monstrous, but because it's hollow. It looks like a man, but there's no breath of God in him. You were told to conquer women, but never taught how to connect with one. You were taught to lead, but never how to listen. You were told to perform, but never to feel. And so you became a brand instead of a man, a mask instead of a soul. The enemy doesn't need to destroy you. He just needs to numb you. Because once you stop feeling, you stop transforming. And once you stop transforming, you become a threat to no one, not even hell. True masculinity was never about dominance. It was always about dominion, not controlling others, but mastering yourself. The Christ-like man walks in strength, but it's a strength born of surrender. He doesn't need to prove himself because he knows who he is. He doesn't hide behind silence because he's not afraid of his pain. And when he loves fully because he's not withholding his heart to protect his ego. Brother, the enemy has rewritten the script of manhood, and we bought it. We wear the muscles, but we've lost the mission. We wear the Cahn, but we stink of insecurity. We got the girl, but lost ourselves along the way. But now is the time to reclaim the sacred, to throw down the false altar of ego, to smash the golden calf of performative manhood. Because God is not looking for men who play the part. He is raising up men who burn with truth. And that starts with you, right now. Not when you feel perfect, not when she comes back, but the moment you say, I'm done pretending. That is the first step out of deception and into dominion. You thought it was just pain, just another heartbreak. Another night with your face buried in your hands, wondering how everything slipped through your fingers again. But what if I told you it wasn't punishment? It wasn't failure, it was baptism. See, in the kingdom of God, before a man is crowned, he is crushed. Before he is anointed, he is abandoned. Before he is raised, he must be ruined. Because God doesn't anoint the polished, he anoints the poured out. And brother, if you're being broken right now, I need you to know you're not going backward. You're going through. Every prophet in Scripture, every man God used to shake the world, was first shattered by it. Moses was rejected by his people. David was hunted by his king. Joseph was betrayed by his own brothers. And Jesus was crushed in the garden before he ever conquered the grave. And here you are, thinking your breaking disqualifies you. Thinking God can't use you because you're a mess. But I'll tell you the truth. It's the mess that becomes the altar. It's the wound that becomes the well. It's the man who bleeds that heaven crowns, not the man who hides behind strength. You were never meant to be perfect. You were meant to be purified. And fire doesn't come to decorate, it comes to burn. It comes to consume everything that was built on pride, fear, addiction, and ego, until only truth remains. That breakup, that failure, that season of isolation where it felt like even God went silent. That wasn't the enemy winning. That was God baptizing you in fire. Because what comes out of the fire is holy. It's real. It doesn't chase approval anymore. It doesn't need applause. It walks in power. Because it's been through the grave. This generation fears pain. We run from discomfort. We medicate our way out of every storm. But some storms are sacred. Some pain is the hammer in the hand of God, shaping you into the man you were always meant to become. So stop cursing the breaking. Stop praying for escape. And instead, ask for eyes to see what's being born in you. Because if you can survive the fire, if you can stay in the process, you won't come out the same. You'll come out anointed. You'll come out dangerous. You'll come out walking in something hell can't counterfeit. Resurrection power. Brother, I know what you're feeling. She was the one. Or at least you thought she was. She saw you when no one else did. She touched something in your soul that even you were scared to face. And when she left, It wasn't just heartbreak. It was like a funeral. Like a piece of you died and never came back. But hear me clearly now. She was never the mission. She was the mirror. You were sent here with a purpose, a calling that existed before you ever knew her name. And sometimes God allows your heart to be shattered, not to destroy you, but to reveal the cracks in your foundation. Because if you build your identity on a woman, when she walks away, so does your worth. That's not love. That's worship. And only one can sit on the throne of your soul. So maybe, just maybe, the breakup wasn't rejection. It was protection. Maybe God allowed the connection to break so you could finally awaken. You're chasing her, but you're losing you. You're texting, hoping, waiting, performing, trying to prove you're enough, but for what? To win back someone who never had the authority to define your worth in the first place. Listen, you were never meant to orbit around her. You were meant to anchor in God. When you chase the Creator, not the creation, everything changes. You stop moving from desperation. You start moving from destiny. And hear me, the right woman, the one who's actually yours, won't be drawn to your hustle. She'll be drawn to your wholeness. Not your image, not your words, but your alignment. So stop chasing what was. Stop grieving the door God closed while ignoring the one He's trying to open, the door to you. You've forgotten who you are. You've spent so long trying to be lovable in someone else's eyes that you've neglected the only eyes that ever mattered, God's. Brother, she's not the mission. She was the awakening, the tool heaven used to expose the parts of you that were still unhealed. Now it's time to take your eyes off the one who left and turn them to the one who never will. Because when your heart is anchored in eternity, the right person won't complete you. She'll join you, but she will never be the prize. You becoming whole, that's the real victory. We've been looking for signs in the sky, waiting for fire, for trumpets, for something cosmic to crack the heavens open. But the final sign, it's not out there. It's in here. It's when a man reaches the end of himself. When the mask falls. When the pretending gets too heavy. When he's alone in a silent room and he finally whispers the most dangerous, most honest words he's ever said. God, I can't do this anymore. That's it. That's the moment heaven records. Not the day you got it all together. Not the day you closed the deal or posted the highlight reel. The final sign, the one that hell fears, is the moment a man breaks and finally surrenders. You've been taught to climb, to grind, to win. But in the kingdom of God, resurrection doesn't come after success. It comes after death. Not physical death, but the death of the ego, the death of your old self, the death of performance, the death of you trying to save yourself. And that's where life begins. See, the grave isn't the end. It's the place of transformation. You've been buried under shame, under addiction, under rejection. But even Jesus wasn't raised until He first descended. So if you feel like you're in a dark place, you're in good company, because that's where resurrections are born. Not on stages, in silence, in shadows, in the unseen moments where your soul starts breathing again. And here's the truth, no one tells you God isn't looking for your perfection. He's looking for your yes, that's all. Not a fake, polished yes, but a raw, trembling, I'm yours. That's the final sign. That's when the rapture begins in you, when you stop running, when you stop pretending, when you stop waiting for a miracle and become one. Brother, this is it. This is your line in the sand. You've seen the signs. You've felt the pull. And now it's time to rise. You don't need to be ready. You don't need to be clean. You just need to be willing. Because when you let the old you die, the version addicted to approval, paralyzed by fear, obsessed with performance, then the new you rises, whole, healed, holy. And when that happens, it won't just be you who feels it. Hell will feel it, and heaven will rejoice. This is the final sign, and it has already begun in you. Listen to me. This isn't just another video you scroll past. This is a moment. You didn't find this by accident. You're here because God is calling you out of the shadows, out of the chains, out of the shallow life you've been living. This is your wake-up call. The shaking is here. The fire is here. And the question is not, will it come? It's, will you rise? You have two choices. Stay in the valley and let this moment pass, or step into the fire and let God make you unshakable. You're stronger than you think. You're worth more than they told you. And you're needed more than you realize. So don't let this word die here. Let it live in you. If this spoke to your soul, don't keep it to yourself. There's another man out there, your brother, your friend, your co-worker, who's dying inside and needs this fire too. Share this video with him right now. Leave a comment below and declare it. I choose to rise. I choose to fight. I choose to become the man I was created to be. And subscribe, because this is just the beginning. We're building a brotherhood, a generation of men who refuse to bow, who refuse to settle, who will rise together. The time is now. The warrior in you is waiting. Will you answer the call?